Hi, I'm Madeleine from Sheen Slings, and today I'm talking about the Ergobaby Embrace Soft Air Mesh. So this is the newest version of the Embrace from Ergo. Previous to this model coming out a couple of weeks ago, they've had on the market for a couple of years now this one, which is made from a soft jersey, and they've just brought out a mesh version. So today I'm going to talk you through what the differences between these are and which one might suit you best, what their relative pros and cons are, and help you work out which one might suit you best. So to get started, there's really only one difference between these, and that's the material. This one is made of a soft jersey and this one is made of a mesh, and I will talk more about, I'll show you it in a moment. In terms of how they fit, age and stage babies they work for, how they fit grown-ups, how you use them, all of that is exactly the same. It's completely and utterly unchanged between models. So if you're debating about whether the Embrace is right for you versus something else, I've got a separate video and I've got separate blogs over on my website and on my YouTube channel. I'll put the links below, but if you have any questions, ask please. So I'm just going to focus on working out which one is the best for you out of these two. And introducing this one, as it's the new one and you might not have seen it. So this, what they've done is they've released it in a mesh, and specifically it's quite a different mesh to anything Ergo have used before. They call it a pinprick mesh. If I hold this up, you might be able to see why. You can see there's very fine little holes. So this isn't an open mesh. This is quite, you can see through it, but it's just these little pinprick holes. So it feels quite sturdy and secure, while still feeling relatively airy. You can see on the shoulders we've got like just one layer of this pinprick mesh, and then it's at the edges they folded it over to feel a little bit more robust, but what would actually spread over your shoulders is just one layer. And then on the carrier itself, where it's obviously got to be structural, we've got a couple of layers sewn together, and actually if you look inside, also a lining material which is not mesh. But it does mean this material is a little bit lighter, but I do think it's worth thinking about that once it is put together into several layers, it might not be as breathable as you might think, because it's also got the lining material and we've got several layers. It is significantly cooler on your shoulders because we've got just that single layer versus the jersey. Again, it goes down to one layer, but the material is thicker and doesn't have the air holes. But again, in terms of the panel, again, this is made by several layers, and this one's made by several layers too. You can sort of see if I hold it in hand, this one does feel a bit thicker, this one a bit thinner. When I weighed these, the difference amounts to about 65 grams. So this one weighs 495, this one 430. So already both are very lightweight carriers. And I certainly wasn't finding clients who got this over the last couple of years have ever really been complaining of being overly hot. Maybe on the really hottest days of the year, but most of the year round, it's quite light and it's not too thick. So most people have been pretty happy. But if you run very, very, very hot, then you may appreciate, or you live somewhere very, very warm, or you're very prone to feeling hot, then you may appreciate this one, because the air mesh does make it certainly feel a bit lighter to the touch and feel a bit more breathable. I think the difference is going to be more for the wearer because of the breathability on the shoulders than the baby, but I think it certainly will be a little bit cooler and lighter for babies. Whether you need that or not, again, it's going to depend a lot on your climate, depend on how you feel, and depend on when your baby is born. Obviously for a winter baby, I don't think this would be needed. For midsummer baby, then you might find that is a benefit. In terms of how it performs, as I said, it really is not very different at all. If I start with this the right way and pop this on, the real helps if I have it the right way before I do that. Never mind. Here we go. The other real difference with this is, so this material has a higher percentage of elastane in it. This mesh material is, let me check my cheat sheet, 92% polyester and 8% elastane. The jersey carrier is 4% elastane, 79% polyester, and then 17% rayon. And the real difference is that when you're wearing it, so as I said, it does feel a bit lighter, but also you can see it's so much, it's very, 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 very stretchy. And I do have a little bit of a worry about this, in that I often find parents don't really find it easy to tighten these straps even on the standard carrier. And with the extra stretchiness, you may find you need to tighten more because you're going to need to tighten that stretch out. So if I don't pull that stretch out straight away, with a bigger baby, it's going to have a lot of bounce. But if I just simply tighten like this, it's going to tighten across baby, but I'm still going to have all this bounce and not really feel secure. So you really do have to, with this higher percentage of elastic, really wiggle your shoulders, move all of this material around and tighten it out. That was ever the case with the Embrace anyway, but I do sort of really notice that extra elastane and slightly worry that a lot of parents will not realise just how much of that stretch you've got to get out to really feel secure. And consequently, I wonder if as babies get heavier, this might feel less supportive than this version, just because you've got more of that bounce and more weight pulling against it. That said, the difference is, so if you can sort of see, if I show you, we've got a bit of stretch, but nowhere near as much stretch as on this one. But as I said, it is lighter, so it kind of depends where you are. If you've got very, very babies born in summer and you're very prone to being hot, you might appreciate the lightness. If babies born more in winter and you think they're more likely to be heavier and you'd like it to last a little bit longer, I'd probably head for the other version. It's also worth noting there is a price differential between the two. They're gonna fit the same amount, but the mesh version is retailing at £100, or at least it was at the time of making this video, and the jersey version has just been put, it was £80, they've just put the price up to £90. So you are paying about £10 more for mesh. As I said, it's a little bit lighter, but it's a bit bouncier, which actually some people might really like and some people might not feel as secure with. Final thing to say about this in terms of how it feels, because I'm definitely someone who responds strongly to something how it feels, it is worth saying this mesh is very, 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 very soft. It's sort of, you know, some meshes can be quite abrasive. This is definitely not that. It's very, very soft. It's very, very, very strokeable. I think of it as comparing to sort of one of my husband's very high quality running t-shirts, really soft, won't chafe, very sweat wicking, very, very cool. Yeah, so it kind of feels like a really good quality running technical top. Compared to this one really feels, this is a really soft jersey. So I often compare it to and think about it like my absolute favourite very light jumper. It's something you just want to cozy in and snuggle all of the time. Yeah, and I'm more than happy to wear this most of the year round, but yeah, it's dependent. I do have both of these available to hire in the library, and if you and I do retail them too, and I offer the option to try them before you buy. So if you have any questions, if you want to try them, please do get in touch. Bye bye.